Hello, this is Jill Ward with Century 21 Island Homes. Today, you're going to learn about buyer costs incurred during the course of a transaction. During the course of the transaction, the buyer is going to have to come up with money up front 3 separate times. So we'll talk about those 3 things, and then secondly, we'll talk about escrow and escrow's job and the fees collected during that period of time. So during the course of the transaction at the beginning, the buyer is responsible for an initial deposit. The initial deposit is paid to escrow when the contract is accepted and the buyer and the seller have decided to move forward together. The second thing is the home inspection. The home inspector will come on behalf of the buyers, inspect the home, and let you know anything that they think could be improved or is wrong with the property. The third expense is the additional deposit. Once you as the buyer get through the inspection and you decide you want to move forward, there's an additional deposit often required, and again, that will be paid to escrow, but you will need to have that money up front. So now the buyer's paid the first 3 fees up front. The rest of the fees will all be charged on what's called a final settlement statement at closing. So escrow is the company that collects all the documents, all of the fees, does the disbursement, records the title with the city and county. All of these fees that I'm about to talk about now will happen at closing on this final settlement statement. So the remainder of the deposit that you're going to need for your loan will be brought to the closing table or within 2 to 3 days of closing. You'll pay that fee, the remainder that you need for your loan, as well as any loan fees that are required by your lender. So that could be points, it could be a certain amount, a certain percentage of the overall loan. You'll discuss that with your lender. There's also insurance fees that are incurred. So here in Hawaii, we have hurricane insurance and we also have home insurance. But sometimes also, depending on where you buy, you may also have to pay for flood insurance. If you buy a home in a housing association or a condo, there will be those fees which are paid up front. You usually pay about a month or a month and a half in advance on your condo fees or HOA fees. In Hawaii, we pay property taxes 6 months in advance. So the seller has already paid property taxes for a certain amount of time. Whatever the remainder of that 6 months is, prorated, the buyer will pay via escrow. You'll see it on what's called a final settlement statement. So the final settlement statement will detail all of these charges. The last 3 kind of smaller charges are the escrow fees. The escrow company, as we mentioned, collects all the documents and the fees. They charge for that. Title is the property deed that you will need for the property that'll be transferred to you, as well as the insurance policy, so that the title is free and clear to make sure if there are any title issues along the way. And also the recording fee, the fee paid to the city and county to record the property in your name. So again, buyer costs during escrow kind of happen in 2 phases. There are 3 fees up front. The rest of it is all handled at the very end in the final settlement statement when you close the property. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions about the buying process, please feel free to either call, text, or email me. Thank you and have a great day.